Neighborhoods that were subject to redlining in the 1930s tend to have higher levels of air pollution many decades later, a new study has found. The paper's authors looked at air quality data from 202 U.S. cities and found a strong correlation between pollution levels in 2010 and the historical patterns of redlining. Their study was published this week in the journal Environmental Science and Technology Letters. Redlining was the discriminatory mortgage appraisal practice used by the federal government after the Great Depression, drawing lines around black and immigrant areas that denoted them as risky sites for mortgages. Neighborhoods were classified from A or best, to D for hazardous, and colored in red. Neighborhoods in those cities for which maps were drawn by the Homeowners Loan Corporation, those neighborhoods that were redlined have worse air quality compared to those that were graded either A or B, X. Researchers looked at the levels of two pollutants, nitrogen dioxide, a gas associated with vehicular exhaust in industrial facilities, and tiny particles known as PM2.5. Both are regulated by the Clean Air Act. We see a really clear association between how these maps were drawn in the 30s and the air pollution disparities today. Joshua Apte, one of the paper's authors and an assistant professor of environmental engineering and environmental health sciences at UCB. And that's not surprising, but it is very striking. This study, by researchers at UC Berkeley and the University of Washington, is significant because it analyzes modern urban air pollution and historical redlining at the national level. But many other studies have found other deleterious effects of redlining. As NPR has previously reported, historically redlined neighborhoods are hotter in temperature and residents experience a range of health disparities. The places assigned low grades tended to be the places where minorities and immigrants lived. Morello-Frosch says the language on the maps was often pointedly racist, with comments about the hopeless heterogeneity of the neighborhood, which led to a lower grade. Maps also reflected environmental factors, factors intertwined with power and race. For instance, a neighborhood would receive a lower grade if it already had industrial uses there. The federal maps and grades then compounded the problem, allowing for more hazardous facilities that spew emissions to locate in the same neighborhoods. Now, people of color at every income level in the U.S. are exposed to higher than average levels of air pollution. The researchers found that historical redlining isn't the only factor affecting air quality, race matters too.